3 of the Lina Knits podcast. I'm Lina and I'm coming to you as always from Helsinki, Finland, which is where I live and knit. You can find me on Instagram as Lina Knits, and I'm Lina Finn on Ravelry. My website is linaknits.com. Today I don't have any finished knitted objects, but I do have some whips and some frogs and some other crafting bits and new stash and a new pattern to show you. Maybe with the frogs first. If you follow me on Instagram, you have already maybe seen that I frogged the convoluted clues that I was knitting out of this 3/4 self-striping yarn. You know nothing, chance. No, I really do adore the yarn. I have very thin stripes alternating between black and then this variegated colorway of blues and browns and orange and white. I really loved it. The sock turned, it was a toe-up sock, which I didn't usually knit, so the foot turned out to be too long, and also the cuff had cables, and I just wasn't liking, well, they weren't showing up since the yarn is so colorful or had those very thin stripes, so it just didn't look nice. I was a bit sad to frog it because I was really excited about knitting toe-up socks, and like I said, I liked the yarn, and I was more than halfway done with the sock, but I just knew I wasn't going to be wearing them, so knitting another sock and finishing that wasn't appealing, so I decided to frog it. I'm trying to get better at making the decision to frog sooner, but yeah. So this is all caked up, so once I'm finished with the pair of Manila Socks that I'm knitting now, I think this is going to be another pair of cuff down Manila Socks. The ones that I have on my needles now are this fraternal pair that I'm knitting. So I've started the second sock, and I'm about halfway done with the cuff since I'm not making them that long. And this is knit out of Tail and Tendril and a Knox and Lumas pair. So these were a pair of 50 gram skeins sold as a set. Knox and Lumas. I'm really liking this. They're cheerful and add a bit of color that I don't usually have in my wardrobe, yellow. And socks, that's perfectly fine. And paired with gray, looks gorgeous. So yeah, that's what's going on with my socks. Then another project that I worked on, well no, there's one more sock wipe that I could actually show you. It's the Sukka Finlandia mystery socks that I'm knitting out of these two. There's something very weird going on with this cake, but let's not let that distract us. Let me see, this is 92 Max and Venus, basic sock, and a Desperate Cinderella. I've knit a lot of socks with the basic sock base, 75 Sebastian wool and 25 nylon, 460 yards, 420 meters per 100 gram, and I really like it. It holds up well in socks. And I don't seem to have the tag for this, but this is also by Tail and Tendril, and it's called Daisy, and it's in the maple base if I remember correctly, which is also a 75-25 sock base. really gorgeous, subtle, variegated. And this is what they look like. So these are definitely non-traditional socks. They look like hedgehogs. So clue 1. Oh, my apologies, I forgot to, I'll try and insert the spoiler warning before I just pull them out. So clue 1 was these striped squares. Clue 2 was this bit here below, making it into a cylinder or tube, and clue 3 was the toe. Now I'm not, these don't look exactly like they're supposed to look, and I think I've measured something wrong somewhere, but I think my squares were really too big. So I knit this bottom bit shorter than was instructed to get it to fit around my foot nicely. The problem is it's of course longer this way around too, so this will probably end up bunching a bit. So I didn't knit this as wide as this, because it would have been too wide then to start the heel. I don't know how we're doing the heel. I have no idea, since this is definitely a non-traditional way of doing socks. I've never seen anything like it before, but this is an experiment, and I think these might not end up being socks that I can wear in shoes, but around the house or while sleeping. My feet get really cold, so I need to wear socks while I'm sleeping most of the time. So yeah, and then the toe. For this one I picked up the traditional number of stitches. I think I picked up 56, because I'm knitting these on 2.25 millimeter needles instead of the 2 millimeter ones that I usually do for my socks. So I went with slightly less, plus the toe section is very short, so it doesn't need to be that way, and it looks nice. The other thing that I did wrong is, since I already did the clue 2 once on one sock, decided to see what clue 3 would be like, and had to redo mine since it was just not working. I ended up not making these mirror each other, so the instructions said to have one sock this way and the other sock, the stripes go the other way. That didn't end up happening, since I was confused on what I had already picked up from one edge. But it doesn't matter. I really like the two yarns together though. So if I have enough yarn left over at the end to knit another pair of socks, I think I will go for a colorwork sock with these two. They were both full 100 grams skeins, so and my socks usually weigh between 50 and 60 grams, or 50 and 70 grams, so there should be more than enough left over for another pair. But we'll see. I don't know how long the leg is going to be, or the cuff. Yeah, the leg, whatever. Okay. And one more knitting whip that's in a bit of action is my Elska hat by Isolde Teague. I really haven't done much, but I've done a few rows, so you can start to see the pattern shaping up. If it won't focus. So there, this pairing here is not the best it could be. But I think overall I like the colors and how it's going to end up looking like. Not really enjoying having all of this yarn attached to it. I think I've now removed this one, but it's completely fallen apart. I think I need to ball that up. But I still have all of this attached to it. So it's a mess, and that's slowing me down. Even though when I'm knitting color work, let's see if I can do this. I turn slightly. So when I'm knitting color work, I have my, I keep my yarns like this, and I keep them that way. But still, when I'm switching rows, they do sort of twist on each other. When I'm switching rows and one of the colors, as it often happens, you continue with one but pick up another one, they end up twisting. But yes, so these are a bunch of odd ends left from other projects. I will list them all, those that I remember what they are, on the project page on Ravelry. But I don't think I even have all of those in my Ravelry stash, which is bad, I know. And then the crochet blanket, the Kalevala crochet along. I actually, wait, let's see. I'm not going to show all of these, but let's just, and this is my pile so far. And this is the one that you haven't seen. So these come to every week, so Mondays and Thursdays. So there have been 4 new squares since our last podcast, and this is the only one I've finished. So I'm getting more and more behind. I've started another one. Up to this, I did them in the order that they came out in, but then I jumped on to, I don't remember what this was, but onto this one because I read that it uses less yarn than the other ones, and I only have this bit of left of this color, and I wanted to see if I could use it. I hope there's enough, because I really don't want to do this again or have to add another one, since all the other ones are done in one color. Having a 2-color one would not be good. But this is the one that I'm working on now. I had so much trouble with this one. Oh, this is the right side. You need to crochet picot stitches on these ones to make them look like waves. And I've done that several times and it just does not look good. So I sort of put this aside. But I really want to get working on it so that I'm not way behind, because then I start working on it entirely. So that'll hopefully, I don't think I can catch up, but do more progress by the next podcast. All right, before I move on to my new stash, I'm going to show you, I always do this. I leave needles after podcasting all over the table, and then I'm searching for them like crazy. I'm gonna show you, last episode I showed a cross stitch whip, so now I've finished it and I just wanted to show you since I've had so little progress on my sort of yarny whips, that I've been doing something. So I did finish this pumpkin patch, which is from Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine, fall 2016, so a year ago. I used yarn that I found from my stash, and I think it turned out really cute. I'm not sure yet if I'm just going to stick it in a frame or if I'm going to sew it up into a decorative pillow, like a small one to put on a table, or yeah, and I need to iron it to get out the wrinkles. For those of you who do cross stitch, this is 32 count Swikart linen with metallic thread, so opalescent. The metallic isn't really showing up. It's very subtle, which I like. Okay, so then I bought some yarn. I haven't done that in a while, but I did. I just felt like getting some autumn sock yarn, so I placed an order with Nora George. After all that time of admiring it on other podcasts and Instagram, I got myself 2 skeins. These are 50 gram skeins. So enough for a pair of socks for myself, especially if using a contrasting color for the cuff and toe, for example. And this one is my absolutely favorite colorway from her Room of Requirement. It's her super sock base, 75% superwash merino, 25 nylon, and the 50 gram skein has 210 meters. It's this really nice beigey speckled colorway. I've seen this knit up on Instagram and I really love it. So looking forward to casting yarn for that. And this is again Harry Potter inspired yarn, Horcrux. The same base. And this I went for. For me, this looked very Halloweeny without being dark. So natural base with lots of different speckles. I'm really having trouble getting the camera to focus today. I really don't know why it sometimes works and other times doesn't. And there you go. So it's got pops of neon in there, bits of darker colors. Really lovely. I haven't seen this knit up, so I'm looking forward to that as well. It looks interesting. And then, so that's my huge stash acquisition. But I did frog DK weight tunic length sweater that I knit a couple of years ago. I wore it a few times after I finished it, but it just wasn't my style really, or something that would work with other things in my wardrobe, so it had sat unfinished. So I frogged it, the whole sweater, and this is what I have. A huge amount of DK weight yarn, of course, because it had been knit up. Some bits, like on the shoulders, it resulted in, oh whoops, it's open, in tiny skeins. So I frogged everything. I washed the yarn, skeined it, and hung it out to dry, so it shouldn't be too twisted when I start knitting it. But so now I'm on the lookout for a new pattern to stitch not stitch, to knit this with, or knit with this new pattern to knit with this. And I think this is, if I should weigh this, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this is 700 grams of DK weight yarn, 6 or 7. And it's dyed by Tricottery. I don't have the tags anymore, but it's this lovely sort of peachy pale pink. So I'm really wanting a cabled cardigan, a worsted weight cabled cardigan, so this is not it. But I don't think this color would look good in cables for some reason, so maybe something more simple. But I haven't even decided if I want to do a cardigan or a pullover, so still deciding. There are plenty of patterns out there that I like, so it's just a matter of picking one. So even though I only bought 100 grams of yarn, it feels like I have a huge amount since I got all that armful of DK to use again. This is all with the frocking what doesn't work, repurposing yarn, finding a wardrobe that fits me and makes me feel good. The last thing I wanted to talk about today was many pattern that I just published 2 hours ago, I think. It's this. It's called Hilltop, and it's knit out of the fiber company's Aranmore yarn in Corcoran. I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm not sure. So this summer, or this spring, they had a call for independent designers to submit their ideas, and then they would offer yarn support for that. So I submitted an idea for a hat with the sideways knit cable as the body, and they liked it, and then they very graciously sent me a skein of Aranmore to knit it with. And I really like knitting with the yarn. I hadn't knit with it before, but it's just a dream to work with, and it, once it's been knit up and handled, it gets so soft. It's really, really wonderful. And I love the tweedy colorways. So this hat is purple, but it really does have a lot of different colors on it. It's just really gorgeous and very nice to work with, since the yarn just comes alive, the pattern comes alive while you knit it. So yeah, this starts with a rib, regular rib bottom, but then you knit the cable sideways, and after that you pick up the stitches from the top edge and knit the crown decreases. And finally, where is that? Here, because you knit it sideways, you're left with an open end edge here. So then you just mattress stitch that together. I know mattress stitching isn't something that most knitters enjoy in the slightest, but it really isn't that long. Just a few stitches to close it up. My test knitters knit this using other yarns. I think all of them knit it from 100% wool, and we found out that with that yarn, it was worsted spun 100% wool that they used. So in that yarn, the cable panel pulls in slightly more, so I recommend then doing the rib a bit longer to give the hat the length that it needs. So yeah, really, really happy with what this turned out like. It was really quite slouchy. And And this is iron weight yarn, so it works up really quickly. So if you're looking for something fun to knit but don't want to commit to a long-term project, then try this one. It's available on Ravelry, you know, and it's called Hilltop. And if you don't want to miss any pattern releases that I do in the future, I suggest you sign up to my newsletter list, and you can do so at linaknits.com/list. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did and haven't already done so, click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the future episodes that I upload. Happy knitting, let's keep in touch, and see you soon. Bye.